It's the go-home show to NXT TakeOver Chicago, and this was a pretty damn good show. Did everything it was supposed to do. Too bad about that main event, though. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your April 17th Go Home to TakeOver Chicago NXT review. Usual house cleaning out of the way first. Check out the annotation. Please add your questions if you haven't already to Ask the Phoenix. You've got about 36 more hours to do it. It will be done sometime this weekend. I was hoping to get it done tonight or tomorrow night. Those are not going to happen, but it will go up sometime before the end of this weekend. This weekend, now that I'm talking about it, pretty full weekend for wrestling. I mean, tomorrow we're going to get the tackle for TakeOver Chicago and for Backlash. I'm going to be there. Kristen's going to be there. Hopefully Guapo's going to be there if he can make it. We're going to start a new game, hopefully, on the preview video. I hope you guys join in for that. Friday is the UK special with the UK wrestlers and the 205 wrestlers that did over in the UK. It's going to be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm not going to be home. Well, tape that and watch it later. I'm going to see Alien Covenant on Friday, so that's also a thing that has nothing to do with wrestling. Saturday we've got TakeOver Chicago. Sunday, obviously, we've got Backlash. We got Hideo Itami and Shinsuke Nakamura could both have pretty damn good weekends this weekend. So as a whole, NXT is looking pretty damn good. We start off NXT in the back lot with Bobby Roode, who's coming into the building, and he's yelling at the guy carrying his bag, which is wonderful, but Bobby Roode is not on this show at all. Just put that one out there right now. Hideo Itami's not on the show either. We got a lot of video packaging on Hideo Itami, but no Hideo Itami tonight. So the main event, or what I'm assuming is going to be the main event of TakeOver Chicago, neither participant was involved in the show tonight, but that's okay. That's all right. We got Drew McIntyre versus Sean Maluta. Drew finally has a Titantron to match up with his new music. It was very weird seeing his new music, which is a little... It's taking me a long time to get used to Drew McIntyre's new music. First of all, I wish they had used his old music, quite frankly, but they got a new Titantron to go with the new music, and Sean Maluta's music got some new, more upbeat, more intense music as well. And Sean Maluta, although this was a short match and obviously a squash for Drew McIntyre, did look pretty good in this match. They did this psychological thing at the beginning of this match where Drew McIntyre, who's obviously towering over most people, he took a knee, like the football players do when they're in their huddle or whatever you want to call it. I don't watch football. I don't really care. But he's on one knee looking up at his opponent, and he's staring them down, staring up into them, staring down. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a really, really badass show of confidence type deal for Drew McIntyre. When the match does get started, though, collar and elbow tie-up, chops by Maluta that get returned by Drew. Overhead toss out of the corner by Drew with one arm looked fucking fantastic, followed up with some very simple stomps to the gut. Boot and a top rope code breaker by Sean Maluta out of nowhere, mounted punches and a corner forearm out of nowhere by Maluta. Corner beatdown and a hard forearm by Drew, forearm by Maluta. Sick headbutt by Drew to Sean Maluta that busted Drew open. And you could tell, as WWE usually does, they tried to shoot around it, and it was all fine and wonderful. But he hits the Yakuza kick. He gets the obvious win. He has an interview after the match talking about his interaction with Wesley Blake and him being kind of pissed off that, you know, more people aren't paying attention to him. Are we worried about other people? Are we worried about what he's going to do in the future? Rah. I've got my aspirations. I'm in NXT for one reason. The whole damn deal. But because he's in a face-to-face interview with one of the interviewers on the ramp, it was kind of hard to shoot around the big fucking goose egg that he had on his cheekbone. Looked pretty badass, and he looked like it wasn't even there. And Drew McIntyre looking like fucking gold since he came back to NXT. We replay Hideo Itami winning the number one contendership match last week against what the fuck's his name? Roderick Strong. And then Sanity attacking Roderick Strong after the match. Now, people brought it to my attention immediately. Thanks, guys. Immediately. When I posted my review last week and, you know, Hideo Itami stands tall to end the show, immediately people in the comment section, well, that's not how the show ended. That's not how the show ended. Didn't you see what happened on .com? Well, no, I didn't see what happened on .com because I turn off the TV. I come talk to you guys here, and then I go to .com to get my imaging and such like that. But Sanity attacked Roderick Strong is the end of that, and he wants Sanity at TakeOver. And then we have what I'm assuming is basically the place where Sanity are always going to cut their promos is in the back lot, sort of around the bonfire in the garbage can type thing, kind of like I said this before when they were fighting against Ty Dillinger and they cut these promos in this particular area. It kind of looks like that sort of Lost Boys, street kid type of mentality in the back alley, not really in the field of view until they strike type thing. It's a really good thing. It's kind of like Bray Wyatt cutting his promos in the bowels of the building when he had the Wyatt family. It's got a very similar feel to it. And basically, he mocks Roderick Strong and his wife and his kid and his family and all that thing to follow up on the video packaging we've seen on Roderick Strong for the past 2 weeks, which is great. It's like, you've got all that going for you. You've got all this happiness, this family, this love in your life. Why would you want to come after us? But, you know, we are in the business of giving people what they want. So, indeed, it will be Eric Young versus Roderick Strong at TakeOver Chicago, which is fantastic, which is going to be a 3-on-1, which is, I don't know. Sanity. They've got a great thing with Sanity. Eric Young's got a match. Nikki Cross has a match that I'm very much looking forward to. I don't know why they don't take Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane and throw them in a random-ass tag team match with Heavy Machinery. Because those two guys, plus Heavy Machinery, are not on the show. A lot of people not on the show that I'm surprised are not on the show. We're going to get into that a bit later on as well. We see a lot of video packaging for a while. We don't get much action for a long time. We see video highlights of Hideo Itami and his truculent sort of journey through NXT when he came in the first time, when he made his debut, when he came in and changed his name from Kenta to Hideo Itami, when he got injured, when he came back, when he was attacked by Samoa Joe, when he got injured, when he came back again, when he challenged Bobby Roode, and now he's finally earned the #1 contender. Like, these video packages were sprinkled throughout the night, but it's video packaging. It's WWE doing what WWE does, essentially, and nobody can touch them when it comes to things like that. We see video highlights of the UK tournament that happened a while ago, because there's a UK championship match at TakeOver Chicago, which is fucking great. I get another video package that reminds me to tell all of you, fuck the Velveteen Dream. That can get off my TV. And there's a very, very awkward Asuka interview where she's approaching Full Sail, but she's being interviewed in the back of a car, which is a very awkward interview scenario. I commend WWE for trying to do something a little different, make it feel a little different, make it feel a little bit more personal as far as an interview goes. But basically, anything that she gets asked, she brushes it off and says, next question, next question, next question. And then finally, when they say, do you have anything else to say? Her question is this interview over? So she's very full of herself, doesn't think anything of her opponents, da-da-da-da-da. It's going to be a great match on Sunday. We all know that what's going to happen, but that's the thing. Lacey Evans, whose gimmick I just can't get into, but she's a good wrestler and she's a former Marine, so hats off to her for that, I suppose, versus Sonya Deville, and I had to Google it because Sonya Deville is the new name that they've chosen for Daria Baronato. Now, Daria Baronato teamed up with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce a while ago, around the time of NXT TakeOver Toronto, because they were taking on Ember Moon, Asuka, and Aaliyah. Liv Morgan was in the mix somewhere as well. She's got the mixed martial arts background, but she's really sort of playing up that laugh at me if you want to, but they're trying to give her the image of like a female Brock Lesnar a little bit. She's got the gloves on and the what looks like tap out gear almost. She's got the hair tied back all tight, looking all serious, you know, in there striking, sticking and moving. Not much flash, but she's flashy in the way that she has no flash. And I know that's one of those things that I say that makes no sense. But collar and elbow tie-up and a lot of elbow strikes and a jumping elbow strike by Deville. Double, I have to get used to calling her Deville, not Baronato, which is, it's going to take me a half a minute. Double leg takedown and a body scissors by Deville that lasts for a while. She tries a couple of times to roll that body scissors into a pin, doesn't work. Rolling knee strikes by Deville. They trade some punches. Back elbows by Evans and a spinning neckbreaker. Step up Insaguri is apparently Deville's finishing move. She gets the obvious win. And I'm really glad they brought her back. I'm really glad that they have her standing on her own and doing cool stuff, not the hired third hand of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, because that wasn't really suiting it at all. I'm glad that she got this win at the expense of Lacey Evans, because other than looking like somebody waving at the Sailors back in the 20s, I really don't know what the fucking point of her gimmick is. It's too gimmicky, and I know it's NXT, and that's where gimmicks are sort of excused, but it didn't work in this case. Then we got to the main event. Great match, great showing for Daria Baronato, though. Sonya Deville. Can't wait to see more from her in the future. I want to see her taking on people like Nikki Cross, like Ruby Riott. I want to see her go in and trade strikes with Asuka. I want to see her go in there and stare down with the intensity factor, her versus Ember Moon, for example, in one match. You know, you remind me to me that this girl exists, first of all. Second of all, I want to see what this girl does next. It's good. What's not so good is the main event, which is Cassius Ohno versus Andrade Cien Almas. First of all, Andrade Cien Almas is part of the triangle of bullshit, so that stands on its own. Cassius Ohno, everybody was really excited for his return. I wanted to be excited for his return. I was like, maybe this time around they're going to do something cool with him. I'm really, really, really struggling to give a shit about Cassius Ohno. And this match didn't help, because this match was boring as shit, never got out of first gear, and I guarantee you guys, go back and watch this match. The feeling of this match... they might as well have been talking on the microphone, where one guy says, okay, you take a turn, do 2 or 3 moves to me. Okay, pause. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 or 3 moves to you. Okay, pause. Etc., etc. The crowd tried to get behind Ohno doing his theme, which is fine. They're still playing up this gimmick that I don't understand and that I can't get behind, that Andrade Cien Almas is the wrestler that doesn't care about wrestling. That doesn't work as a gimmick. It really, really doesn't. But let's talk about it. It was boring, lots of boots, lots of forearm shots, lots of kicks, lots of boots, lots of forearm shots, lots of kicks, lots of boots, lots of forearm shots, and some stomping and some mudhole stomping, and some more boots, and some more drop kicks, and some more... oh, fuck, it was boring. This match sucked balls, guys. I don't care. I know they really want Andrade Cien Almas to be this big, badass, charismatic heel. He's not. He looks like a 5-year-old that kind of got the idea in his head that he was going to go fail at being Razor Ramon for Halloween, and it just needs to stop. Razor Ramon and The Godfather. Let's throw those 2 gimmicks together, put it on this twerp, and see what he can do. And WWE, you can tell they think very highly of this guy, because they're presenting him in losing situations, but they're presenting him in very high-profile losing situations, if that makes sense. Cassius Ohno is just out there like he's having a day in gym class, and I don't care. I wrote out the details of this match. I mean, semi-decent thing. Almas does the tarantula over the top rope, which was kind of cool. I'm looking through my notes, and it's just nothing. An elbow. A forearm shot, elbow shot, won the match for Cassius Ohno. And I don't care at all. At all. They promoted next week's special NXT from Chicago. And this is where I have a problem, guys. We all know that when they film TakeOver, either right before or right after, they film the episode of NXT for the following week. Problem is, it's one continuous show. Whoever's on the show for the following week isn't a part of TakeOver at all. It's confirmed that we have Drew McIntyre versus Wesley Blake. First of all, why is Drew McIntyre wasting his time? Why is NXT wasting Drew McIntyre's time with a jobber like Wesley Blake? Second of all, they advertise that Aleister Black is in action. Aleister Black is one of the coolest characters they've created in a long-ass time. I'm not saying he's the best wrestler. I'm not saying hand him the title tomorrow. But he's one of the coolest things they've come up with in a long time. And they're keeping him off TakeOver. They debuted him at the last TakeOver. And now he's going to be basically going to be in a dark match, because the dark matches of TakeOver become the next week's episode of NXT, which I hate. Which I hate, because the show after TakeOver was filmed before TakeOver, and it's full of a lot of replays from TakeOver. It's full of a lot of cut and paste shit. The episode after a TakeOver is always crap. I don't know why McIntyre and Aleister Black are relegated to that. But I'm done ranting about that. Let's talk about TakeOver. We're going to talk about it more tomorrow when I do Tackle, as I normally do. We're going to see the new game. It's going to be fun. But we got Young versus Strong, which is obviously going to include Sanity. Going forward, this could be a cool feud, but it's sort of, they're treating it like it's new, but Roderick Strong was one of the ones, along with No Way Jobber Zay, that helped Ty Dillinger when he was having his problems with Sandy. So this isn't even really a new feud per se. It's a new person going after Eric Young directly, but this isn't as new as I think they want it to feel. Asuka versus Cross versus Riot, because Ember Moon got injured. Still going to be a decent triple threat match. I mean, the ending is going to be pretty predictable. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate will be decent. They have done a good job of giving you little samples of the UK division within the NXT show, which is fine, so it's not completely coming out of the blue. DIY versus Authors of Pain in a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships could be the match of the night, potentially could be the match of the weekend. Really, really looking forward to that. Obviously, Hideo Itami versus Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship. Hideo Itami has come this close to being in the title picture on NXT 5 or 6 different times. The fans in Chicago, of all places, know this. The fans in Chicago, of all places, also know what his finisher is. So I cannot wait to see. I will be watching with a lot of fellow fan interest into how NXT TakeOver Chicago and the crowd there take this match, take Hideo Itami. They're going to do the NXT thing. They're going to get behind Bobby Roode. They're going to do the glorious entrance. They're going to do that whole shtick. I'm really interested to see how they take Hideo Itami. Do they cheer him because he does CM Punk's finisher, or do they chant CM Punk at him because he does CM Punk's finisher? It could go a lot of different ways. It's interesting. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow night. I'm going to be throwing you guys the Q&A sometime this weekend, so get up in the annotation, put your questions in for the Q&A. I will talk to you later. I fucked up my own exit. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out, guys. Bye.
Sunshine, come a freak like me.